Grab that chair. Oh, I need to move the books over here too. Oh God, there's a mess. Okay. Hi, Kim. Hi, Raj. Give me a second. In real life. 12, 15. Give me 1 second. Almost ready. Turning that. Okay. I need to clear off space. These are the high dollar books. There's only a couple this week.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Well, they're gonna fall there. Just throw them right here. Okay. We'll go with the mess. We'll just go with it. Can I know I kind of have to move all this. Comic shop, man. You got the worst kinds of messes here. I'll move this over here. Give me 1 second, guys. Right here. That's where we're putting it. Pushing it back. Nate, you good?
Okay.
Okay. All right. I need my drink. Oh, I drank my drink. Damn. Okay, that's fine. All right. I'm going to take the mask off so that the deaf community can read my lips because I can't sign fast enough. Sorry. So, even though I'm not wearing a mask, please remember to wear a mask when you can. And Nate is a ways off from me. I wish he could be further, but we're doing our best to maintain our distance and get the reviews done. Let's see. It's a weird week for comics. What else? Hand me that. Where's that box that Dawn gave me? What's back there? Hand me that box real quick. I got a Christmas gift from Dawn, my friend Dawn, who gave me two things, which are both pretty awesome. One was the Johnny Silverhand Cyberpunk action figure. So that's pretty dope. Really dope, actually. The second thing he gave me is a super dope piece of history. Dark Claw, which if you don't know who Dark Claw is, it's the amalgamations in the 90s when Marvel and DC crossed over. And this was Batman combined with Wolverine. And wouldn't you know it, I actually had an argument in Iraq with another brother of mine who claimed that the universes had never crossed over, ever. And I was like, you don't know comics and are full of shit. But anyways, so yeah, Dark Claw. I got a nice piece of history there. So that's dope. Thank you, Don, very much. Other news we've had this week, other than Marvel dropping a plethora of TV shows that are coming out on Disney Plus, to include an Ironheart TV show, which I am so hyped about. And then on the DC side of things, we're getting a Naomi CW show, which I'm even more hyped about because Naomi was my favorite thing out of 2019. Without a doubt, my favorite thing out of 2019. There are tons and tons of comics to get through. So any other pop culture news that you can think of, Nate? Nothing pops into mind. It seems like I have a week's worth of pop culture news until I get in front of this, and then I forget it all. William Dafoe and Spidey 3. Oh, there we go. Willem Dafoe. Sorry, not William.
Hopefully they keep his face as is and don't put the mask on.
Is he going to be wearing the Power Ranger Green Goblin outfit? It was not my favorite, if I'm honest. He played the part perfectly. That outfit sucked. Okay, let's get started. Why don't we start with DC? So Tales from the Dark Multiverse, Crisis on Infinite Earths. Is it Crisis on Infinite Earths, Dark Multiverse? Yes. And actually, the ending was quite different from what I expected. And I really liked it. I will say that it's not the best of all the Dark Multiverse stuff, and it's definitely not Batman Hush, which I think is the worst, and that's where the bar is set. So I had a pretty good time with it. I will say that if you're not used to that event or you don't know that event very well, you might be a little confused. So maybe go back and read it. But all the key players are in here, and it was pretty good. Also, getting to see the Spectre belt out is always fun. This is going to be my DC pick of the week, and it's Snyder, Capullo, Clapion, and Placencia. We are one issue away from the end of Dark Knight's Death Metal, which is going to change the shape of DC for all time. And this issue in particular is just amazing. Snyder's narrative is outstanding. Some of the stuff that he says speaks to the warrior in my heart. Being a paratrooper and everything, and having Diana Prince say all of that really makes sense. But it's such a good story, and the art, my God, the art. But there is such a sense of desperation in this issue in particular that I'm sold from the very beginning. Now, I have said that most of this, the death metal stuff, is not as good as the OG Dark Knight's metal stuff. But this issue in particular was amazing, just all around great. So if you're a DC fan, you will not be disappointed. And yes, it's my DC pick of the week. Next is Tom King, George Fornes, and Dave Stewart, and we're talking about Rorschach. Now, we know that Rorschach, apparently he is alive, which doesn't quite make sense, and he's been running around with a cowgirl who is a particularly good shot, and you get a lot of her backstory and sort of what's going on in this. And also her father, who apparently is really abusive, and says that a lot of the stuff he's done in this life has been mind control from space squids. So not sure where this is going, but it's Tom King, so off the rails is pretty normal for him. It's going to make sense by the end, but man, it was a heck of a wild read. And this issue doesn't really center much around Rorschach, more around his current sidekick, but super interesting. I can't wait to see how all of that pans out. Not any of that. Next is T. You said, I hope not. Yeah, I hope not too. Hi, Mom. I hope it's not the Green Goblin Power Ranger thing. It's the nasty taste in my mouth even now. Next is Lanning, Mars, Marino, Smith, Santucci, and Hi-Fi and Prianto. My God, there's a lot of people working on this. And that is the Teen Titans Winter Special for the Endless Winter. And, the Titans are kind of broken right now. They're at odds with Damian. And meanwhile, Donna Troy, of all people, has stepped up to take the reins, which, while, yes, it does make sense for her to be leading a Titans team, not so much makes sense for her to lead the Teen Titans. I would just prefer her on the Titans. Donna Troy's been around the block a few times, but it works. I had a good time with this, and we saw in that last Titans roundup that the old teams and the new teams are sort of coming back together. I had a good time with it. They do introduce a new character. It is a first appearance, I believe, for a new character. It's kind of an interesting character. You'll have to read the issue to find out. But yeah, first appearance in that issue, I think. You never can tell. Sometimes like obscure things get dropped in other issues. Next is Jurgens, Cliquette, and Filardi, and we're talking about Nightwing 77. Or, as this probably should be called, the DC Christmas Special, because it's very feel good and warm, and even ends with an eggnog toast, which is a very DC thing to do at Christmas time. So yeah, it's great. I had a good time with it. But if you don't like that sort of those cheesy holiday endings or from DC, you probably won't like it. But if you are like me and you do like that sort of stuff, you'll have a good time with this. Next is Batman's Grave, or the wild story of the life and death of Batman you didn't know you wanted. I have not really had the best time with this Batman's Grave stuff, so I hadn't checked in on it in a while. And I will say, although the ending of this is filled with a lot of action, and it does wrap it up nicely, it's still it was not my favorite story. The art's a little too gritty for me at times, and the story itself had it felt like it had filler in like just issue 3, which is strange. Like if you can't go 12 issues without putting filler in it, just don't. Write a short, sweet story that 6 issues is a good length. But it's okay. I hadn't checked up on it in a while. It's definitely an ending, and I think if you're invested in this Batman Grave stuff, you'll probably like this ending. There's plenty of action. It's just not my cup of tea, oddly enough, which is weird to say about anything Batman. Me saying it's not my cup of tea, strange. Yogi, can you grab me a drink out the back? Or I'm sorry, man, to ask mid-show.
Yeah.
Thanks, brother. Oh, yeah.
Bring it the whole day.
Can you rinse this though? I'm sorry, man. Asking favors on
Want me to
favors.
wash it for you too?
I
got you, bro.
Thanks, brother. Next is Tinian the Fourth, Duce, Martinez, Pagaluian, Mickey, and Baron. And yes, we're talking about Batman 105. Now, the last issue was pretty tense. I had, what's his name? Ghost Maker?
Yeah.
Ghost Maker and Clown Hunter. These names suck, Tinian. Everything you do great, but I don't like these new hyphen names very much. You like those names?
I like the Ghostmaker.
Ghostmaker's okay. It sounds like Widowmaker, so I'm okay with that. But Clown Hunter's kind of. Yeah. And why do we have all these hyphen names? We're not Marvel.
I mean, what's he gonna be hunting?
Yeah. Well, in the last issue, it ended with him hunting Harley, which kind of makes sense since she was there where his parents died.
I wouldn't really say hunting because Ghostmaker just gave him a solid.
Yeah, pretty much. And we do get the wrap up of that. I will say that as far as Harley being a complex character and her redemption arc storyline, what happens in this makes perfect sense. And again, is another reason why I kind of love Harley, even though she originated from the animated series versus like the actual comics. But she is by far one of the most complex characters that DC has, and it really shows in this issue, which is a testament to Tinian's writing. On top of that, we're getting new allies and new villains and such in the Batman mythos, and I'm having a great time with it. Keep in mind, I'm still completely ready for Future State. I'm so excited about that. We just put the posters up. But this is still a really good run, so check it out. It will be here. Next is Amy Reeder and Marissa Louise, and we're talking about Amethyst. Now, I gotta tell you, whenever anyone talks about what gems do and what crystals do, I get a little itchy. It's not my jam. I don't like that sort of new agey type of stuff. And yeah, they do talk about this, and I guess it sort of makes sense in the gem world mythos. So yeah, that was okay, but it just wasn't my thing. But what is my thing is the action, and there's a lot of it. On top of that, the art is really good. And as far as wrap-ups are concerned for comics, like this is a great ending to a story. Now, the Amethyst story, again, felt like it was the curse of filler. About 3/4 of the way through it, or maybe 2/3 of the way through it, I just kind of felt like it was starting to drag, like they were just throwing filler in to sort of get to 12 issues, which isn't my jam. I think if you can tell a good story in 6 issues, do it. It's still a good story. But the ending was outstanding. It was an absurdly cool ending. And I've sort of fallen in love with Gem World, even though I don't like the whole hokey energy gem stuff, like whatever. But I have kind of fallen in love with Gem World. So, good writing, good art, good story, good show. Is this 6? This is only 6. I thought it was 12 issues. Well, then what am I thinking of? Maybe it was like issue 3 that started to roll. It was about halfway. Yeah. But they kept this going for a long time, didn't they?
Yeah, and they put it on hold for a while.
Yeah, so this was on hold. Like, I thought it was done too. This was a story that was quite drawn out. So, okay, 6 issues. Maybe one of them felt like filler, but still a pretty good story. Next is Saladin Ahmed, Minkyu Jung, and Ian Herring, and we're talking about the magnificent Miss Marvel. And I gotta tell you, the writing for this current Miss Marvel is just outstanding. It's some good stuff. The art is great. I've had a good time with the story. Currently, Kamala is being chased by Cradle, and the reason she's being chased by Cradle is because of the Kamala Act, which was enacted because of her, because she got so injured that she was knocked into a coma. And so teenage vigilantism has been outlawed, and Cradle has been tasked with enforcing that. which that's a position Marvel Heroes tends to fall on like more than once. I think I can think of a couple civil wars that have happened like that. One thing I will say is when Kamala wants to be nonviolent, which is most of the time, I love how she handles it. And in this issue in particular, she just starts putting agents on the roofs of buildings. Like you're going on the roof. You're going on the roof. And it's a very Kamala thing to do, but I loved it. It's so good. She's such a great character. Anyways, so I loved it. It was almost my pick of the week. Not quite for Marvel, but pretty darn close. It was good. Next is another book that was almost my pick of the week. Cantwell Kefu Dharmata, and that is Iron Man. And man, I gotta tell you, Hellcat and Iron Man is the team I never knew I wanted. They're still trying to figure out what's going on. They're trying to rescue Rhodey. And we put all the pieces of the puzzle together. Meanwhile, Hellcat and Iron Man are pretty much into each other. And as a couple, I gotta say it fits. Their personalities are very, very good together. Both really funny and great at dry humor. Both pretty, they can get very sarcastic at times. It just fits. And it's the power couple of the Marvel Universe I never knew I quite wanted. And the art, God, the art is so good. And these covers are all done by Alex Ross, which is amazing. So I'm loving every second of this. And I would say don't skip it. Don't skip it. Don't skip it. Don't skip it. These current Iron Mans this is the Iron Man that we wanted about a year ago and weren't getting. So, yeah. Next is Blade Runner 2029. This is Mike Johnson, Andre Ginaldo, Marco Lesko, and yes, the covers are all by Peach Momoko, so that's probably why you're buying them right now, other than the Blade Runner stuff, which is good. This is another Blade Runner story, and I believe it centers around the the character from the last Blade Runner story. I can't remember too much of it, but you know what you're getting here. You're getting a cyberpunk story with a bunch of twists and turns, and it all sort of centers around replicants. And it just sort of feels like, doesn't it feel like it's low-key part of like the Aliens mythos?
It's
like
strongly believed that they are together. It's the same universe.
Oh, really? Because
Yeah.
it seems so similar, and they reference the same things at times. I'm always kind of wondering.
Yeah, they point at some of the Easter eggs in director's commentary and stuff about the androids in that are actually developed by what we see in everything in Blade Runner.
Which would make sense. So yeah, I'm kind of glad I pieced that together accidentally. But it's a good opening, or not opening. Yeah, it is an opening. It's issue 1. It's a good opening. If you read the last Blade Runner arc, I think you would jump on this and be perfectly happy. And if you need more cyberpunk in your life, because you probably do, because you're playing the new game like I am, pick this up. So our next book is Cyberpunk Trauma Team. Did not plan that. Colin Bunn and Miguel Valderrama, and oh god, like we need to gush for a minute. First of all, I really love this art, and every time Cullen Bunn is attached to it, he picks these artists that do these like watercolor, like this art that feels like watercolor but is never quite, which is always my jam. And it centers around the Trauma Team and a couple of betrayals and sort of the sacrifices that Trauma Team makes. And it has a really, really good ending. I was secretly hoping that part of this would link up with the Cyberpunk game, but I have yet to see that it's like linked up. So far, I'm kind of, maybe it will eventually, or maybe it's tied to something and I haven't played that arc of the storyline. I'm not sure, but Trauma Team is a pretty heavy force in the actual Cyberpunk game. So I kind of want to know where this is going. This was a really, really, really good wrap up to this particular arc. Sad that it's ending at issue 18. What's ending at issue 18? What are you talking about? Oh, you're talking about Miss Marvel. Yeah, that's sad. As far as like arcs go, this Trauma Team Cyberpunk arc was better than I wanted. I didn't realize I wanted to know Trauma Team stories from the Cyberpunk universe, and I totally did. And I found out that one of my friends from Baycon, Colin Fisk, was the original writer, one of the original writers on Cyberpunk, the role-playing game. So all of his creations like have popped up in the video game.
Oh,
So
wow.
like, yeah, he created the brain dance stuff, and the brain dance stuff plays like a major role. He created like parts of the city that have popped up in the game and stuff like that.
That's dope.
And
man.
the whole time I knew him, he never like
Hinted.
said, "Oh, I made, I helped make Cyberpunk," and like never told me any of that, which I would have been gushing
Yeah.
over.
That's dope.
So
man.
yeah. So I've gotten to I got to ask him a bunch of questions. Like in the game, they call money eddies, and this game came out like it was like late '80s, early '90s. So I had to ask him. I was like, "Is that an Eddie Money reference? Like, is that what that is?" And he said, "No, it's because euro dollars ED eddies. So that's why it came to be." But I still secretly believe it's an Eddie Money.
I mean, he wouldn't be allowed to actually say that. would he?
Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, so Cyberpunk 2077, amazing. Cyberpunk the game, also amazing. But if you're like me and you're playing on the last gen Xbox, my God, the bugs and the crashes are insane. There are a lot of glitches and bugs, which almost make sense for a game called Cyberpunk. Almost, but don't make sense when it's been in development for 9 years and they bought the rights 6 years before that. So 15 years of planning it. You should have ironed out some of these. But at any rate, I'm having a good time. And if you like that game, you should be watching us on Twitch and watching our playthrough. I can't talk.
All of it.
Next is Thompson, Sandoval, Nava, and Sotomayor, and we're talking, of course, about Deadpool. The last issue, we saw Deadpool actually get Elsa Bloodstone's stone because currently she was being poisoned by her stone because there was some dark taint to it. And Deadpool's going to go fight that dark taint. That just sounds wrong, whatever I'm saying. I have to tell you that I did chuckle out loud a couple times in this issue. And, it's childish humor, but it makes sense for Deadpool. So I would say don't skip it for that. The art is really awesome. Plus, Powered Up Deadpool is nice to see. And they definitely hint at the King in Black in this. So I would say don't skip this one either. It's not a pick of the week by any means. It was okay at best. But if you're a Deadpool fan, I think you'll love it. Did you guys receive Solid Blood 17 from Robert Kirkman? Supposedly was supposed to be a surprise Image comic released this week. We did get it, and we're going to be reviewing it in a second. I did not know it was a surprised Image comic released this week, but I do have it. Next is Ta-Nehisi Coates, Leonard Kirk, and Matt Mia. Yes, we're talking about Captain America, and there's a couple things to unpack here. First of all, that Alex Ross cover is amazing. Second of all, that's a certain general, one Thaddeus Ross, the Red Hulk. Hi, Delbert. How are you? Okay, Delbert, you got it, man. That is definitely General Ross, and General Ross was supposed to be dead. But, these Hulks got a problem with coming back. They have a problem with coming back, and it turns out that even though he probably doesn't take the green door, old Thaddeus does have the same issues. And so they go over that in this issue, and it's great. The storyline was great. The art was good. I will say that his resurrection was not as it didn't have the same pull as like a normal hero. I shouldn't say normal hero because the Red Hulk is a normal hero now, but it didn't have the same pull as like a lot of the standard heroes' resurrection. It was all right. As far as like Captain America books, this stuff's been great. I've said nothing but good things about the recent Captain America books. I didn't like all the Captain Hydra fallout from a year back. That was getting tiring, but this stuff lately has been good, so I would say definitely pick that up. Next is McKay, Vidi, Guru Effects, and we're talking about Taskmaster, but more importantly, we need to unpack what's on the cover. What's on the cover, Nate? Hyperion. Hyperion is a not even rather. He's an extremely overpowered superhero, and there's multiple clones of him, and some ain't right in the head. So we've got a problem, and Taskmaster is is not exactly a character that should be able to take many punches from Hyperion. So yeah, and oddly enough, like his fight and his internal rage and everything that happens in this issue felt damn good. I who knew that Taskmaster was the hero I wanted out of 2020? But oddly enough, having a good time with him. I'm telling you, 2020 is all about redemption arcs. It feels like.
Right.
Because yeah, we've had this, and then what else happens? Like Juggernaut, we've had a Juggernaut. Solid. Thank you for the response. Are there any extra copies? Yes, yes. Patrick Galano wants next Solid Blood. Okay, so yeah, check this out. What's the story on this comic, Patrick? I don't know much about it. So
They announced it a few weeks back.
Announced it a few weeks back.
It's going to be a secret comic coming out. Nobody knew what it was.
Okay, Solid Blood, issue number 17. Now, what do you get in this? Well, you get a story that I don't know whatsoever. I know it was an Image comic. I don't know the story whatsoever, but it is printed on newsprint, which I love, harkening back to my youth on this. And it smells just right. It smells like a newsprint comic should. But the art is very modern and beautiful. It has that late 90s Image feel to it. And oh god, I've just had I had a good time with it. I don't know these characters at all, but the villains are very sharp and sinister, and the heroes run around with swords. And honestly, it felt like a 90s comic that I just hadn't read in forever. So yeah, I don't really know this story, but who is it? It's Kirkman. That's why it's good. Kirkman and Ryan Ottley. So yeah, had a good time with it, but really didn't know the characters very much. But yeah, we've got a couple left after Patrick picks one up. We'll do him a solid and make sure he gets one of these. Supposedly, Skybound found a pallet of comics in their warehouse. Robert Kirkman and Ryan Ottley have no recollection of writing it. What?
Wow. Is that even a thing?
Skybound found a pallet of comics in their warehouse. Robert Kirkman and Ryan Ottley have no recollection of writing it. What? Supposedly. Wow, that's weird. That's weird, and I feel like I'm holding a strange piece of history. Yeah, it's a very 2020 thing to have happen. We will have one on our shelves because Patrick's getting one, and now I'm taking the other one.
Those things are super up there in value too.
Are they? Oh, okay. Well, you came up, Patrick. We'll hook you up because you're a regular here. So, next is Mark Sable, Giorgio Pontrelli, Pippa Boland, and Thomas Maurer. And again, I butchered names. I'm so sorry. But this is Aftershock, issue number 2, Miskatonic. This story is a wild and weird ride. Now, keep in mind, this is issue number 2. I didn't read issue number 1, but it seems to be centering around a cult that worships, well, a very Lovecraftian thing. Meanwhile, there are witches in play and federal agents who are very much fish out of water in this story and sort of along for the ride. Is it good? Yes. Honestly, I was hooked. And the art felt dark and sinister enough that I really wanted to know more, while also being just very modern and beautiful. I love the use of colors. So honestly, a really, really good showing, and it's strange that I skipped issue number 1, but number 2 was what hooked me still. So yeah, awesome showing. Aftershock these days is churning out some gems, so I would say pay close attention to them. Yeah, supposedly there's an alternative universe Mekon from TWD. Wow, a lot of weirdness. Okay, strange. Next is Corey. Oh, look. Corey, the team are on this, which they write under the name, what is it, Benjamin A. Corey? It's two writers that write The Expanse, but they write under a different name. Betchko, Aragon, and Segala. And we're talking about The Expanse. Man, we need to have a good talk on this. So this centers around Senator Aravadala. I hope I've said the name right. Her name is always one that I struggled with in the books and even the TV show. And also we're doing Bobby Draper. Those seem to be the two main characters. There's a couple side characters that come in, but it seems to be centering around those two, which obviously you could tell from the cover. It is in the Expanse universe, but we're also going to get the Senator's daughter in play, which is interesting to see. I can't remember if we've actually seen her in the TV show or not. It's great. I just wanted more stories from the Expanse universe, and here we go. I will say the art for me, the cover is great. The actual art inside of the story at times felt a little too gritty, and they do some strange stuff with the light and shadow at times that doesn't quite fit with the grittiness. I don't know. I didn't quite like it. Something just fell off for me, and I couldn't quite put my finger on it. But I love it still. It's more stories from the Expanse universe, and I want that. So I'm hooked and can't wait to know more. And yeah, there's a couple twists and turns here, and a betrayal, because a lot of the Expanse stories do tend to start with a betrayal of some kind. So yeah, we'll have it on our shelves. Good stuff from Boom. Come pick it up. Next is McKay, Villa, and Reber, and we're talking about the King in Black, Black Cat #1. Oh God, oh God. So the art is amazing. The story is amazing. Wasn't McKay writing Black Cat already? It's the same person that was writing the last Black Cat run, right? I think so. And keep in mind, Black Cat has robbed Doctor Strange 2 times now. 2 times she is snuck into the Sanctum Sanctorum. I think only one of those times she got caught, but she has definitely robbed him both times. Meanwhile, this picks up at the beginning of King in Black. And you know what happened at the beginning of King in Black? We saw Doctor Strange go down swinging, but he went down. And the funny thing about Black Cat is she's not too happy that Doctor Strange has gone down, because she sees him as a pretty nice opponent. So she's going to do something rather dramatic. Honestly, it was awesome. Awesome. I love the writing for Black Cat. I love the art. The art was just top tier. It was very close to my pick of the week. Again, super close. And the ending, it just makes sense. And if you've been reading the Black Cat stuff lately, you will absolutely love this. So I would say do not skip this whatsoever. Next. Oh man. King in Black, the Immortal Hulk. No, you know what? We're going to wait one second. We're going to talk about this one in particular. This is Ewing, Bennett, Jose, Bravo, and Mounts, and we're talking about the Immortal Hulk. Now, there is a lot of fallout that has happened recently in the Immortal Hulk that we need to discuss before we discuss this book. The leader has brainwashed Bruce, turned the original Hulk into a cowering child. So the Savage Hulk himself is still Savage Hulk, but he's been triggered to the point where he's pretty much gone very more childlike than normal, which is weird to say. He's lost a lot of his gamma, so he's very sickly and looks pretty much like Superman did in Flashpoint, kind of. Like very sickly Hulk is what I have to say on that. On top of that, Bruce has been dragged back to hell by the leader, leaving my favorite character, one of my favorite characters rather, Joe Fixit, to fix things. So Joe Fixit is teamed up with the Savage Hulk, and they've been on a collision course with, Ben Grimm, the Thing, because the Hulk is still blamed for the tragedy in Arizona. So, yeah, that's a lot of stuff. But is Joe Fixit up to the task? Well, always. He's always up to the task. And Joe Fixit, not as Gray Hulk, but as human form Joe Fixit, is still one of my favorites of all time. In fact, that version of Joe Fixit might be my favorite, Joe Fixit of all time. I'm really loving this stuff. So again, don't skip this, but I would say don't skip this because of the Thing. The things the Thing does and say in this, his dialogue is very beautiful. And yes, it's very Ben Grimm, but it fits the moment. And honestly, Ewing just knocks it out of the park with dialogue. He really, really does. And this is just an amazing piece of work right here. Not my pick of the week. It's not this Immortal Hulk. It is actually this Immortal Hulk. And this one, I would say you have to read this one before you read this one, because this one, well, it picks up where it's left off. Now, oh, one of the things I got to say about this issue is they do openly admit that the Hulk has dissociative identity disorder, as they've hinted at him having it and referencing systems and stuff like that before this. They freely admitted in this one. And the current system is, well, it's the Savage Hulk in childlike form, where he's skinny, with Joe Fixit as the human form. So it's weird to see, because it's like the stronger of the two personalities is the human one for once right now, which is kind of strange. But yeah, Joe Fixit, this issue in particular, it takes place during King in Black, so Null's at play. There are symbiotes on Earth. It's Christmas time. There is no dialogue, none whatsoever. But what you do get in this issue is you get Joe Fixit tasked with killing a symbiote, which is quite beautiful in his level of brutality. And I'm not going to spoil it with you, but it's very, very, very Joe Fixit. And I loved it. I showed it to Nate, who like literally cackled when he saw like the end scene. What'd you think, Nate?
It truly was someone you expected from Bouncer from Vegas.
Yep. It was a very Vegas style ending. So yeah, it was beautiful. There was not a single line of dialogue. It is entirely a book of art for you to enjoy and piece together the story. And the way it played out still felt beautiful and told one hell of a story. So don't skip it. That's my pick of the week, without a doubt. Next is Percy Kasara and Guru Effects. And we're talking about X-Force. Do we finally get an answer as to whether or not Colossus is a traitor? And was Beast's hunch right? Well, you get that answer, but more importantly, you get Beast in this issue saying, I have an idea, which is usually not a good thing to hear Beast say, because when Beast hatches a plot, while he is very smart and usually correct, his plots lead to a lot of pain and torment at times for people. Yeah, not as bad as Dark Beast. We definitely know that, but still pretty bad. And Jean Grey, because of that, is never really that happy with Beast, and it shows. So a lot of good internal conflict in X-Force, and the writing was top tier. Go figure. It's Percy. And the art was just amazing. But again, these mutant titles, you really can't go wrong with any of them right now. They're all great. So yeah, pick that up. Next is Pack, a great Pack. Ienko and Manon, and we're talking about Darth Vader, issue number 8. Oh God, there's so much good in this. We have the Sith Assassin. What was that Sith Assassin originally from? What was he supposed to be a part of? Okay, so the Sith Assassin was supposed to be part of something else, and he was kind of dropped and brought into this comic. So I know it's an older character that was dusted off for this, but I'm not really sure from what. So we see him versus Vader. Meanwhile, Vader is not allowed to use the Force and has now lost his lightsaber and was pretty much crippled and had to rebuild his arm and leg out of droid parts. But, you know, Vader's never really down and out. As long as he's got just an ounce of hate, he's probably going to kill you. So, yeah, it's a Vader survival story, and I love it. The art is great. They're fleshing out more of these characters. They're fleshing out the Emperor 30 years later, which is still weird to me, but beautiful. Yeah, it's just awesome. So I would say, again, a must-buy this week is probably this Darth Vader, but I wouldn't start with this. I'd probably go back an issue and catch up on the Sith Assassin stuff, but pretty damn good. Next, Fantastic Four, and we're going to show two covers here. We're going to show the main Fantastic Four cover, Slot, Silva, Carlos Ramirez, and O'Halloran. The main cover is awesome, and we do get to see the Iron Man Fantastic Four Reed suit, which is great. And the art on this main cover is really, really good. However, the nullified variant of a nullified thing is just absurdly cool. Sinister Ben Grimm looks awesome. And does that take place in this? Well, not really. What you are getting in this is you are finally getting an answer to that god that showed up, that god of discord at the very beginning of the Fantastic Four run that murked Molecule Man in seconds.
Oh, that one.
That one, we're finally getting an answer for that, and it's finally coming full circle, and it's pretty cool. But yeah,
Longest cliffhanger ever.
wow, I've forgotten all about that
2
character.
years ago.
This was the issue. Yeah, this is issue 27.
At least the whole family was able to take down the cosmic entity for a little bit then.
Yeah, but that character is like a Discordian character. At least I think that this is the character. But keep in mind, it has been a long time. It's been 27 friggin' issues. But Dan Slott, man, he's a slow burn, but when he gets going, it's stupid good. I think the Sith Assassin was in the Return of the Sith. Oh, it was supposed to be in the Return of the Sith. I don't think it was, though. Was it? Not the Return, the Revenge of the Sith. I've got my Revenges and my Returns mixed up. Which is oddly right, considering it started out as Revenge of the Jedi, did it not?
It did. That was the original placeholder.
What a weird brainworm that was. Okay. So yes, we're finally getting a wrap up on this, and it's great. I will say the Dan Slott started with an explosion, lulled for a few issues, quite a few issues, up until that whole planet thing where Johnny Storm met the love of his life type stuff, and then just started getting really, really good again. So if you've been looking for the first family stuff where it's just some good action, and yeah, every issue they mention Yancey Street, then come pick this Fantastic Four stuff up. I'm not kidding you. It's on the first page this time. Number 4, Yancey Street. Okay, guys, we get it. You're from Yancey. I got it. I know people from Oakland that don't bring up Oakland as much as you. So. Yeah, maybe that's it. I don't know. Did Fantastic Four number 25 actually come in undamaged this time? I'm not sure. Did we get 25 replacements yet? I haven't seen them. I haven't seen them yet. I'm sorry, brother. You need the nullified variant. Cam says he needs the nullified Ben Grimm. We'll get you a handle, Cam. Peter David, Greg Land. Oh, you said Greg Land recently got in trouble again, right?
Yeah, so he stole cover art for one of the graphic novels that they were re-releasing under Marvel. So instead of going with the original cover art, they went with something new, which was actually nothing new.
So Greg Land was making an Aliens comic cover and apparently borrowed from some of the old Aliens covers. So
that's what he's known for.
We all know Greg Land borrows and tends to borrow from porn and Swimsuit Illustrated issues. He's a very controversial guy. I've heard he's a really nice guy, but I mean, weird. And he doesn't get in trouble all that often because he meets every deadline. I mean, if what Greg Land is doing, tracing stuff, is legal, shit, maybe I could be an artist. I don't know. Anyways, hi Don 100. Yes, we're talking about Peter David, Greg Land, Jay Leinstein, and Frank D'Armata, and this is Symbiote Spider-Man. Now you get Greg Land, and you get, oddly enough, Black Knight is in play in this issue. You can tell from the cover. But does it tie into Null and the King in Black? Yes, finally it does. After the first issue, which was the slow burn. But I actually had a pretty good time with this, all things considered. And, you know, we joke about Greg Land's covers, but I don't hate Land as an artist, if I'm honest. There are other artists where I'm not fans of. Greg Land's all right. The story was really, really good. That's not a very alien oh God, Jacob, you don't have kids yet, but you need to hurry up because you definitely tell some dad jokes. But is this issue good? Yeah, it's pretty good. These symbiote Spider-Mans are really flying off the shelf, and I get it. Like, everyone's a fan of the symbiote suit, and for that matter, the black suit. So whenever anyone sees it, they always grab it. But I never really understand, because I read these symbiote Spider-Man storylines, and as far as Spider-Man stories, they were okay. they're always okay. They're never super great. And again, for King in Black, it's like, yeah, they just dusted him off for what was it? They dusted him off for the Carnage event. What was it called again?
Absolute Carnage.
Absolute Carnage.
Yeah.
So they dusted off for Absolute Carnage, and the symbiote storyline in that one was kind of weird and not. It was okay. It seems to be the same thing. This one did have a lot of action, though. It was all right. Next is Dugan, Zerker, and Tartaglia, and this was, again, almost my pick of the week. And we're talking Savage Avengers, and wow, Savage Avengers. Let's discuss. First of all, if you can't tell from that cover, we got Magic in play. Anytime Magic is in play, she's one of my favorite mutants, and I love her attitude. She's funny, dry, hysterical. That's what you get in this. But again, it's being written by Jerry Dugan. That's kind of his jam. Yes, Black Knight is in play, and oddly enough, had a good time with him as a character too. The team's got whenever Dugan writes these Savage Avengers, it's like he takes a bunch of action figures blindly out of a box and decides these are going to be the ones to fight together, and somehow makes it work. Like makes their chemistry work together. And this is a team I would have never put together. Juggernaut, again, his redemption arc has been great. Had a good time. God, I hope that's not a sign of something. But it's just awesome how this whole thing has played out. We do get to see Crom in this because Conan has a rant about Crom. And I always like to see Crom as a character because the way they draw him and personify him is pretty funny. It's like he's sitting on a glowing throne and just pissed off and angry all the time, which that's Conan's description, right? One thing I will say is part of the way this wraps up is they give a magical artifact to Conan. And what do you think Conan does with a magical artifact? You know, I guarantee you he doesn't accept it. Like, no matter what, he doesn't accept it. I mean, it's 50-50 that he destroys it outright, and you're going to have to read it to find out. But you know Conan, he hates... The thing about when you read those old Robert E. Howard novels, like, Conan mostly drinks and sleeps with women and fights stuff, like fights evil monsters and stuff like that. And whenever magic shows up, Conan just screams about wizards and runs away. Like, legitimately, that's what happens in those novels. He generally screams about wizards and runs away. So he doesn't like him at all. But, you know, that's Conan in a nutshell. I loved it. He's a stunted character that will never grow and is somehow really beautiful to me as a character. The symbiote Mysterio story sucked. I can't even read right now. My eyes are going. Yeah, I will agree with you on that. It did suck. So Savage Avengers, I would say don't skip. It's awesome. And Black Knight and Magic, like trading quips, is actually really entertaining. Which, for a character like Black Knight, it seems like they dust off Black Knight every few issues. And I mean, not every few issues, every few years. And every few years, I realize I don't really care about Black Knight. Did they? No, you're thinking Arachnite, which was Moon Knight and Spider-Man. Oh, Sleeper got dusted off. Sleepwalker.
There we go.
And apparently that character does go back to the 90s, but I still didn't care about it. And last book on our list this week is Rahal, Pearson, and Stressing. And we're talking about The Vein by Omni Press, issue number 3. Now, okay, I did comment that The Vein last time it felt very Blood Rain. It was like vampires killing Nazis. But it seems like they're into killing just pretty much, they're opportunists at times. So in this issue in particular, they kill some communists in Cuba and some federal agents, or they're on the path with federal agents. And there's a lot of twists and turns. I can't spoil too much more than that. I'm just going to gloss over it. I will say the plot was really interesting. I had a good time with the plots. I've liked the twists and the turns it's taken. And the art, I really, oddly enough, like this art. Something about it really sells the story to me. And I honestly, I like the way the artist does eyes. I'm not sure if I liked it at first, but it's really grown on me. So, anyways, The Vein, issue number 3. Good showing, guys. Raul, Pearson, and Stressing. I'd say if you need another vampire story in your life, this one's good, but it's not as dark and as gritty as, like, say, Vampire the Masquerade. This is more like, vampires sort of coping and handling the world at the same time. It's at times it's a bit upbeat too, but it's a great story so far. They're getting Black Knight ready for the Eternals movie. That's what it is. I don't know. Do you really care about the Black Knight? Maybe I will after the Eternals. It's just not my jam. You know what my problem with Black Knight is? You got to have that Merlin character involved with Black Knight. I don't give a crap about that character whatsoever. Maybe I should. Hi, Emily. That's our show for this week. Do we have anything else to add?
Shit ton of announcements from Marvel and DC, or Marvel and Star Wars this week.
Yeah, there are so many Star Wars movies coming out. After the movie, yeah, probably after the movie. You know how it works. Maybe I'll be interested in Black Knight after that. Probably not. Everyone's going to be interested in Moon Knight after the TV show comes out. And I'm going to be like, I told y'all so. Moon Knight is... Oh, Ironheart. Oh, my God, dude. So when we opened the store, we bought an Ironheart collectible. And it sat in our cases for like 2 years. It felt like maybe a year. It was a long time. And we would always get people that would come in and be like, oh, look at that Iron Man. And we'd be like, no. That's Ironheart. That's not Iron Man. That's Ironheart. And they'd be like, oh, who? And I'd be like, oh, God, how do you not know Riri Williams? Like, what is your problem? We're finally going to get an Ironheart story on TV. So more people are going to be into Ironheart. More people are going to be into Moon Knight.
You're thinking Naomi on TV.
No, I'm not. Ironheart's getting a show.
Yeah, she's going to Hulu Plus.
Yeah, Hulu Plus.
Yeah.
Right, but it's a TV show.
Streaming
TV. Well, okay, streaming, but whatever. We're also getting a Naomi show, which if you haven't read Brian Michael Bendis' Naomi and you're a DC fan, I'm going to need to check your card at our door because that story is friggin' outstanding. And Jamal Campbell's art is just the best art I've ever seen. In fact, I'm going to say it. Jen Bartel is now my second favorite artist. Whoa. Because Jamal Campbell is my first. And that's directly a response from Naomi and Forest Sector. Because, God, his art is so good. So good, dude. Anyways, I'm not surprised with Ironheart simply due to the fact that it's a comic that has diversity. Well, yeah. But I don't know. It's just she's such a good character. Riri Williams is such a fun. In fact, Riri and Shuri sort of butting heads in the Shuri comic not only made sense, but it's just how I love those characters to be. So and then Naomi, again, it's just I don't see it as diversity. I just see it as good heroes. And they're really, really good heroes to read. Like, they're fun. So, claps to Bendis for making a dope character. Right? I'm telling... Okay, so let's go over what certain writers should do in the universes they write in, okay? Tom King. Tom King pissed off a lot of the DC community on his Batman run. It was controversial, but a lot of us also loved it. And the thing about Tom King is Tom King writes trauma well. So Tom King should just handle PTSD. And I think any story involving trauma, put Tom King on it. Bendis, I have not liked Bendis' Superman run all that much. But I will tell you, when Bendis makes a new character, he makes the best friggin' character there ever was. Miles Morales is proof of that. Naomi is proof of that. So Bendis, just have Bendis make new characters. Trust me, the man is a golden goose for that stuff. What else? Jerry Dugan. Have Jerry Dugan write action with comedy, like he's done in Savage Avengers, like he's done with Punisher. Like, just have him write action. He's great at it. What else? We talk King. Woo-hoo.
Cates,
Johnny Cates. I don't know. Johnny Cates and Jason Aaron, just let them do it. And Scott Snyder, let them do whatever the hell they want. like just
do Batmite. It's gonna be the best. Batmite.
Whatever those guys want to do, let them do it, and let them do it in droves. Please don't burn them out because they're just shiny gems in the comic industry. But let them do whatever the hell they want. Who else? Who is it that's writing Spider-Gwen right now? She's also writing. Oh, I can't remember her name. Oh, it's gonna drive me nuts. Go Spider.
McGuire.
Oh, Shannon McGuire. Shannon McGuire, get her on more books because, like, I don't know what was weird. She was writing the last Spider-Gwen run, which wasn't that good, but her current Ghost Spider run is friggin' amazing. So get her on more books. And you know who else needs more books? N.K. Jemisin. Oh, okay. I shouldn't be saying N.K. Jemisin needs more books because she's an author and she's got plenty. And if you've read them, they're great. But I'm saying as far as comics are concerned, get her on more comics and team her up with Jamal Campbell more often because that Far Sector run is gold. There was only one issue where I was like, oh, it's the meme issue. It's kind of cringe. But everything else about that comic has been just friggin' outstanding. What else? Any other writers and artists that should do? Greg Pak.
Great Punisher run.
Yeah, Greg Pak. Greg Pak is another one where you just let him do whatever the hell he wants, and you'll have gold.
Right.
Oh, Ewing. Oh, Ewing. Al Ewing. Okay, so I don't know what Al Ewing's like writing schedule is like. It seems like he only does like onesie, twosie books at a time, but he can screw with someone's mind really well. So just get him on whatever comic that you want to just darken the mythos or change it just a little bit and like really make it something sinister. And I guarantee you'll get it gold. I have not. Oh, okay. Cates. Plus Armor Wars is coming. It is.
Yeah, that's right.
It is. We're getting mechs, like Avenger mechs and stuff like that.
So we're also getting comic too, aren't we? That's another one.
Are we?
Yeah.
Are you're thinking Amory War? That comic based on the Coheed and Cambria?
No, I thought there was something going on with Marvel and they're doing like mechs.
Joker series. Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
There's a mech thing that's going on. J.J. Abrams and Henry Abrams. Put them back on movies. Get them back to movies.
They're good with movies.
They're great with movies.
They should do movies.
That Spider-Man comic sucked. It sucks so bad. Anything else? Any other artists? Don Cheadle, the star, and we're getting a War Machine series. Are we getting a War Machine series? To star in Armor.
But I thought he was going to be in that Armor series.
That's what he said. Armor.
Armor, yeah. Cool. Man.
And Jen Bartel.
Yeah,
there are certain comics that like I want Jen Bartel doing covers for all the time. I think Thor is one of them.
Ooh, yeah.
Thor because you get
pink,
in the Rainbow Road all the time. Like
right?
just put her on that constant over the Bifrost. I should say Rainbow, but that's what it is. There are other comics. What other comics should Jen Bartel do just pretty much all the time? I would love to see her do Superman covers, and I know that's probably the other side for her. But I mean, she does crossover here. But she's doing Wonder Woman covers for Future State. So those Wonder Woman covers. If you go look at the Jen Bartel Wonder Woman covers, they're so good, dude. Peach Momoko, I guess. Peach Momoko, I don't know. Peach Momoko covers are amazing, and I get it. She's really good at branding with that stuff, which is awesome. But I want to read a comic where she's done everything in the comic.
It's coming. She hinted at it in the last previews that we had out here. She said that she's doing interior work.
Oh, okay. So we're gonna see Peach Momoko and some main stuff. So that'll be cool.
Who else? Man, there's so many good artists.
Who's writing Doctor Doom right now? Is it Ewing? Who's it?
Christopher Cantwell.
Oh, Cantwell. Cantwell is great. Like I'd like to read more stuff with Christopher Cantwell, but that Doctor Doom run was really good. Okay. Oh, and Hickman.
Yeah.
Hickman.
Anything. He can write anything.
Let him do anything. Just hire him to do anything. If Hickman wants to just put his feet up one day and just write a comic about his feet resting on like a table, like a coffee table, friggin' let him do it. like give Hickman anything. Literally anything. Who do you like more, Hickman or Cates?
Hickman.
Hickman? You like Hickman more?
Yeah, simply because you could go through his runs. You can go Fantastic Four,
Avengers.
New Avengers into Secret Wars, and you can avoid everything else. Just matches up perfectly. Even in the X-Men run, on the House and Trials of X,
Yeah.
you actually still see some references to Avengers, New Avengers in there.
Yeah. So Nate picks Hickman. I'm gonna have to say Cates just by a margin because I love Cates retooling mythos and fleshing stuff out, and then you team him up with Stegman, and it's just this powerhouse team. But I will say that Hickman tends to get beautiful artists on his project too. So yeah, Hickman for Black Panther. Okay, Camp says Hickman. Yeah, I'm gonna say Cates right now. Anyways, that's our show for this week. I just started rambling at the end, but we will see you guys next week. We all hope that. Everybody's hoping that it's based off Lemire's run.